Welcome back, everybody. This week I guess we're going to talk about self-care type of stuff. I told Maria I'm feeling super confident today because I colored my hair purple.
Oh, look
So,
at her with her hair. I'm so happy that she decided to do Vivids again because uh, I can't be the 41-year-old with bright colored hair and then her being conservative hair. No, that just doesn't work.
yeah. I went like in like February or March, I went to a natural color to try and just be nice to my hair because I was always stripping my colors. I was always changing my colors. So it wasn't like I just put the same color over top and then my hair got really dead. It feels so good today. I used Pulp Riot for those who, like doing crazy colors. I use Pulp Riot color and then it's a super conditioning color. Sorry, something just went off in my ear. It scared me. It's a super conditioning color. And then I used, when I styled, I used their heat protectant, their sea salt spray, their shine mist, and their hair serum. So it feels so much better. The ends feel good. It's shiny as fuck if you're not
It does.
watching
It looks
YouTube.
beautiful.
It's so shiny. But
Hmm.
yeah, so it was a good time.
My hair is not. It's soft, but it's not shiny. I did put some shine spray on it from, is it Kenra?
I
Kenra?
like her.
It smells so fucking good.
Also, thank you
But
for calling it Kenra, not Kendra.
um, I have their blow dry spray, but I didn't use that. I used their silkening mist.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love it. But yeah, enough about hair.
Hey, hold on. One more thing about the hair because you're gonna laugh at me. So I don't have a blow dryer here because it's at
Yeah.
work. So before when I first did my front and it was still like kind of too light, like I went outside and all my hair had almost completely dried and I was like, oh fuck, like I have to do the front. So I did the front and it wasn't drying fast enough. I kept going outside, coming inside, tried playing video games, passing the time. I was like, yo, fuck it. And I went in Mike's room and I turned on the fan and I flipped my head over in front
Oh my gosh.
and he was taking a nap because he was on his lunch break. And when he woke up, I was like, "Don't judge what you're about." He was like, "How long have you been doing that?"
That's
Like I just
hilarious.
started. Yeah, so desperate times call for desperate measures, but it is what it is. I thought you. That.
Yeah, oh that's freaking hilarious. Well, she had all the time in the world because I was doing my look and it took for freaking ever.
Great. Just to throw
But
it out there.
it came out well, so I'm good.
I'm
Um,
good.
Also, those of you that have been listening to us, I am finally facing the camera, okay? Give me a break.
Oh, did someone complain?
Yes, no, they complain every time.
Really?
Every and it's probably the same person, but it's like you need to face the camera. I
Isn't it you?
always yeah,
Wait,
I
missed this.
because I always delete them.
I was about to go look for it because I was like, what? Oh no, I don't want to get off that page. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm facing the camera, guys. So please don't. The thing is I used to use my Canon as my camera, as my webcam because it just
Mhm.
looks better. Well, it didn't matter anyway because my internet freaking sucks. So we just looked weird anyway. So I mean, it didn't make sense to continue using it when it's a load on the camera. So I was just like, forget it.
So
So
I
I'm
have to
using my
get it.
webcam. Yeah, I'm using my webcam again. And I'm tethered to my cell phone. So we are not going to have internet issues today. So we are all professional up in here.
Yo, as professionals, we're gonna be for now, but it's going. It's going. We're good. We got this.
Right. Yeah, we just need to find some earbuds that I can plug into my mic because my for some reason my Beats Pro does not like Skype. and it's annoying the crap out of me because I love my wireless earbuds, but
Sorry.
gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway.
Excuse me if I just stare at my hair sometimes. I'm so sorry.
Your hair is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So all of that is a great segue. I don't know where to start. With all the self-care.
Well, yeah, we're talking about self-care, confidence, things like that. Everything that I lack as a human being.
Yo, hush your mouth. Oh my, don't listen to her. She's lying. Oh my God.
No, I'm not the most confident person. I guess because, I've gained weight and all of that, but I have been taking self-care seriously because I've been like really, really depressed. Those of you that don't know, if this is your first podcast, my mom passed away probably 2-3 months ago. June, July, 3 months ago. Yeah, almost 4. Yeah, this year's going by fast. And I went into a depression. So I'm trying to kind of do things that make myself feel better. And I've been throwing all of myself into my work. And
It's been phenomenal.
I've been doing the good thing is that I'm a lot more confident in front of the camera and it shows. So
Right.
so yeah, I've been better with that. And then yeah, I just try to take the time, little things like in the morning when I do research, and my research consists of watching the YouTube videos that I always have on subscriptions, and then I do like research and stuff like that, trying to figure out what I can do. And so I take time at the beginning of the day before all the kids wake up, watch my YouTubes. I'll play, any kind of games that I have, and wash my face. I won't shower until later just because that's a chore to me. It's not self-care.
Showering.
Showering. I do shower though, so don't
Don't take that comment the wrong way.
Yeah, don't take the comment like I don't shower. No, I shower. I shower regularly because I don't want to stink up in here. But
No, girl. We ain't here for that.
Yeah, but I take that time to relax and have my me time before everything gets started for the day. So that's what I do with my self-care. And not only that, doing my makeup actually is my therapy as well.
That's a huge form of self-care.
It takes me forever because I like to challenge myself. And then filming, it's just filming. If I turn the camera on while I'm doing it, then, it's a video. But doing my makeup, and probably the reason why it takes me so long, one, I'm a perfectionist. It has to be right. And two, I like challenging myself. I like learning new things. I like, expanding my art. But it's not work to me. It's my relaxation, my time.
Right.
Work to me is cleaning the house and mopping and doing all of that crap that I don't want to do, but I do it anyway because I have to.
Fair.
So yeah. So that's what I do. I am trying to lose weight, but I'm doing more intuitive eating. I'm trying to make everything not off limits. And I haven't gained weight. I've lost a little bit, and it's gonna be slow. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna do anything off limits because I have I have an emotional eating disorder, and I'm a food addict. So the problem with those is if you restrict something, that is all my mind is going to be doing is focusing
thinking
on
about it.
I have. So with me, nothing is off limits, but I just need to pay attention to my cues, my hunger cues. And so it's like, and this is part of self-care. You guys, you're like, if y'all are like, why is she talking about this? This is part of self-care. I'm trying to take care of myself. Um, Instead, I need to, actually listen to my food cues and not just inhale. I'm starting to slow down on my eating. I'm starting to pay attention to my body and what my body is telling me. And it's helped a lot. I don't obsess over food. I try really hard to, when I'm full, I'm full. I'm not going to just keep shoving food down my throat. So I'm losing weight slowly, like a half a pound at a time.
But that's good.
But but I am losing weight. I mean, it may not be like what I want it to be if I did a crash diet, but if I did that, then I'd overeat, and then I'd be right back where I started. So I'm trying to make this last. And get healthy because diabetes runs in my family. A lot of weight-related health issues are bad, and I'm trying really, really hard to get back to my ideal weight. So right now, not great because we had some setbacks.
Hey, it is a process. Appreciate the bumps on the way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I am an emotional eater. Let's get that out there. And the worst thing that could possibly happen to an emotional eater happened. So that didn't help matter as much. But I haven't gone. I'm not back to where I started. So that's all that matters to me is I'm not there.
Yeah.
I think I started I think I was 275 when I started, and I'm in the very, 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 very low 200s, about to hit the 100s. So
hey,
I'm getting there. So yeah, that's really what I've been doing.
That's all. I don't know how casual that was. That's just what I've been doing. Okay, that's all.
And I guess I want to talk. One thing I want to say is because I had reiterated that a whole, all about the weight loss and stuff. Self-care isn't just like, being relaxed, having peace, making sure that you're doing the things like, taking time for yourself and doing, your makeup and things like that. But it is taking care of yourself as in your health, trying to not let things stress you. Like I have high anxiety, so a lot of things stress me out. And so it's meditating, doing things like that so you can be functional.
Absolutely.
And you can start taking things with more stride. I mean, you're gonna have your days, but you can, start dealing with a lot of the stressors and stuff that you have in everyday life. So
it's good that you said that, because like literally it was yesterday, I think, I went out and I erased the dry erase board in the kitchen and I wrote on there like, okay, these are the health things we have to do, or like I have to do, and like this is the mental health stuff, like my physical health, my mental health. And so I went in and I made, just rules for myself, things that I need to do to reach the goals that I need to, or that I want to reach. Like you were saying, daily, like meditation, gratitude, intentions, journaling, making sure that I am dancing. Y'all don't even understand. We'll get to that. Making sure I'm dancing or singing or doing something, just to like keep me in a good mood throughout the day. But people, really do typically think that like self-care is like, oh, I took a bubble bath today. Like, okay, that's great. Like, that's phenomenal. That really is. But, I feel like it's so much deeper than that. And for Maria and I are very similar people, if you haven't caught on to that yet. My mom brought me a whole box of bath bombs yesterday.
Oh, I want a bath so bad.
I jumped in the bath so fast. So I do baths when I need them. But like today, I colored my hair. Um, I will. What was it? Oh, like going and getting my nails done is something I don't do. I don't do much anymore, and I'm probably not going to because I play my guitar again, which will go me. But that was something that I used to do for self-care. But like reading personal development's great. Journaling. I started writing music again. I don't even know who I am. I'm inspired. I started writing music. I started journaling every day. Um, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with good people because I feel like that's part of self-care, especially like the people that you're closest to. Like my people that I talk to are like Maria, Mike, and the person I'm talking to. And I have to make sure that everybody has good energy. Look, don't get me started. And like, well, in this newfound whatever, it's also got me outside my comfort zone to go new places. Like, get outside your comfort zone. Sometimes self-care is doing something new that you wouldn't usually do, or going somewhere that like makes you comfortable and relaxed. So like, I've been taken to lakes, and I sat on top of a building last week and like just looked at the city, like stuff like that. You don't even realize like that it's calming. And I'm glad that someone was with me because those are not things that I would do by myself as a female in my 20s. But yeah, makeup, all types of stuff like that. And something that I used to look at as not self-care that I think everything is about perspective. Um, and sometimes we think that the things that are work and they're not self-care. I definitely took my family time for granted. And I took like making like content and stuff like that for granted. Like today I was doing my hair and I was like, I could just make this into a video. So I made it into a video, and I need to edit all the videos that I have, but that's what I did. And I think that switching your perspective and just like your frame of mind is a big deal. And the only way you can do that is by properly taking care of yourself, getting the proper tools, arming yourself with knowledge. And, I have some great like mindfulness and self-care books over here. Maria has Audible, which I need to get back on her Audible. I have it. It's on. I just haven't listened to it. But honestly, like, and there's all types of different things. And
sorry, I didn't mean to
fine.
interrupt you, but when you get back onto my Audible, there's a couple of books that I downloaded on there. They're romance novels, and they're awesome.
Don't judge. I'm not gonna judge you. Well, the thing is, like, everyone's self-care looks different. So, like, to me, like, sitting down and journaling and reading The Art of Living by Thich Nhat Hanh might be my type of self-care. Someone else's type of self-care might be reading that boss bitch kind of book and then, going and sitting in Starbucks for a little while and doing some work on the kid. Like, I don't know, like, whatever, like, makes you happy. And that's another thing is, like, you're allowed to look at work as self-care. And I got out of that mode being in the relationship that I was in, because Maria knows I'm a very like focused, driven individual, and I find joy in working. I find joy.
I do too.
I'm literally dying right now because the fucking Rona is really slowing my job down, but it's fine. Oh my God, I'm like, that's why I was like, I gotta do my own hair. Like, I can't take it. But working makes me super happy, and not everybody's like that, but some people are. Just like working out I love fucking exercising. Not in this heat though. But like some people don't like stuff like that. And it's kind of cool, I will say, to have the type of personality where it's all different things. It's not just like I'm just creative, I'm just physical, whatever. It's cool to have a lot of different outlets. And if you haven't found yours yet, like just dabble. That's how I found a lot of shit. I just started fucking around and trying new shit. Like, I love cooking. I didn't know I'd like cooking.
I'm not a fan of cooking. I love to bake, though. Baking is my thing. I love it. So yeah, I love to bake, and but yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing too. When I was completely miserable at my other job, it was a job. And your job is 90% of your life, people. It takes up most of your freaking day. You need to be happy with your job. And that's like the one thing I tell my kids. When you decide, when you pick a career, you need to make sure it's something that's going to make you happy. Because if not, you're going to be miserable. And I know because I stayed in that career for over 20 years and I was freaking miserable.
Right.
It just, and a lot of people are just like, you can't love your career. And I'm like, says who? Says who? Who says that you need to have a career just for the money and not something that you love doing? Okay. I don't get paid for what I do right now, but I love it. And it's my job and I make sure that I do stuff. I mean, there's stuff with my job that I hate. I mean, I hate editing. I hate it, but I do it because I need to.
Right.
I do it because I need to. Mainly because it takes like all of my freaking day. But I always have an editing day. Like I edit all my videos and the podcast in one day for the week.
Yo, because she's crazy. It's fine.
Well, I don't like, because if I don't, then I'm not going to make myself do it again. I know it because I've done
Right.
that before. I'm like, oh, I'll stop now. No, don't do that because it ain't going to happen.
That's why none of my videos are edited. Hey.
And
It's
and
fine.
that's why I went a long time without editing because I'm like, oh, I'll do this and then I'll do this and then yeah, I'll do a little bit and then I'll come back to it. I never do it. So now I have a set editing day where I edit everything and then the rest of the days are like coming up with content, filming the fun stuff that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Doing new looks, challenging myself. I now decided to have one day a week where I'm going to be doing the more artistic, abstract stuff because I need to learn how to draw and shade and all of that. Because if y'all saw my smoke and fire look, I hated it. It was awful. So I need to learn how to do that more. So yeah, challenge yourself. Do things that make you happy.
That's a real thing. And it doesn't look the same for everybody. And like you were talking about work being an out or like being what you love. Like, so right now, my job, I love my job. I love doing hair. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. I love the creativity. Like I am obsessed with my job. Um, so right now, work is it's a little slow and it's nobody's fault. It's the Rona's fault, and that's okay. I understand like some weeks are popping and then some weeks are slow. And I struggle with that, right? Because it's also my income. My income is based on the amount of people who come in. And so my dad recently was like, have you thought about basically like going back to school and getting a degree that would like for a career that would further advance so that I can move out? Well, because I'm living with my daughter's father. And I first of all, like if that's trying to get me to move out faster, that's not going to make me get out faster because I have to get a degree. Number two, I love my job and I spent $25,000 to go to school for 1,500 hours. And so, no, I'm not just going to switch course because there's a bump in the road right now. If you love what you do, like be patient and be willing to pay your dues, work from the bottom up, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, the first couple of years of working in the hair industry is building your clientele, it's learning technique, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's so much you're always doing continued education no matter how long you do
Mhm.
this, but it's especially important in the beginning because you literally only learn fundamentals in school. So for me, it's frustrating knowing that I love my job. I'm working a job that I would do for free if I could. That's how much I love my job. And to have someone go, I know you love this, but money, no. Like I would rather love walking into work every single day. And then when I come home, I don't have to stress out about self-care. But like I can still do it, but I don't have to stress about it because I don't have to come home and go, "Oh my God, yeah, I'll have my bad days." But there are people who go to their jobs every day and hate their job every fucking day. And I never want to live like that.
I was one of those people. I mean, and it got to the point where it was affecting my marriage. Um,
Mhm.
because I was miserable and I came home miserable and I'd yell at my husband, I'd yell at the kids, because I was so stressed out and I hated getting up to go to work every day. And
Right.
um, now, I mean, and I'm not saying, if you're in the position, guys, okay, if you were in the position, I happened to be in the position. I quit my job and decided to do what I wanted to do. Um,
Mhm.
and I was in that position to do it. When you're young and you're a teenager, or you're just getting started, it's easy to do that
Mhm.
because don't be. And I'm gonna because I was this person. Don't be so hell bent. And what was that? So yeah, this was me. Okay, I'm talking to you from experience. Okay, when you are graduating and trying to figure out what you want to do and whatnot, and you have the luxury. I know some parents don't want you to go bye-bye as soon as you get to where you're till you're 18. I'm not one of those parents. I want to make sure that my kids are set and good before I kick them out of the house. However, they are not going to be 30 years old still living in my house. There's a cutoff time, okay? Um, but uh, don't be so hell bent on getting out of your house and leaving, okay? I was that person. And because I wanted to be out on my own, I wanted to be able to do my own thing. And I know that as a child or as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, you want to be that person and
Mhm.
go on your own. But get yourself established and then do it. That way you never have a problem and you never have to go back to your parents' house, and you can start
Yeah.
saving and doing all of that, and find something that you're passionate about and that you love, and that can support you, and do it that way. I mean, shoot, if it's artistic, then start early. Start
Mhm.
before you graduate, and do it that way if you don't have to go to
Yeah.
college. So, I
I
mean, yeah, that's the best thing. Don't get in a hurry, because I did that and I fucked everything up. I ruined my credit. I ruined a lot of things. Do not be in a hurry
mhm.
to grow up and move out.
No, and even like, I like listening to Gary Vee. That's another thing that I do for my self-care is I like to listen to motivational speakers, entrepreneurs, people who just like really fuel you and feed your soul. And Gary Vee, I love him because he often talks about like take your 20s and figure out what the fuck you even like. We are so conditioned that you go to high school and then in high school you need to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life by the time you're 18, then go to college and do da 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 da. Like no. Sometimes we get into college and we're like, "Yo, this is bullshit. Why am I wasting my money?" That's what I did. I knew I wanted to do hair when I was younger, but I knew I wanted like what school I wanted to go to and everything when I was 19, and I couldn't afford it at the time. And my parents were like, "Well, you have to go to school in the meantime." And I spent so much money on pre-rec classes that don't even go towards anything. Like I could probably almost get an associate's in like something basic right now just based on fucking prereqs. And then I'd be like, cool, look at me, I have a piece of paper. But that's not what I wanted to do, and I listened to what other people said to me, and I just did what I was told. And that was something else that I regretted later, was that in that time I could have been finding myself, I could have been finding what I love, I could have been finding new projects. And like at the time I wrote a lot of music, I was playing a lot of music, I would do like open mic nights and I was having a good time with that. But my focus is, and I really wanted to like be um a music artist. I wanted to sing. And I couldn't focus all my attention on that, and my other aspiration of doing hair because I had to go to school, and then I got caught up in a lot of like random shit. Like I wish I would have just lived in my earlier
Mm-hmm.
20s, because at the end of the day, I still didn't end up going to school until like 24, 25, and I could have spent, 18 to 25, 26 doing more and really like trying to figure things out. All I did was wait tables. I didn't even work a lot of different jobs. Like work different jobs, figure out what you like, meet people, talk to strangers, which I know sounds like stranger danger, but it's not. Um, but seriously, just like talk to the people next to you and like just connect with people. The more people you connect with, the more things that you get to experience, because everyone's experiences are different. So in hindsight, at 28, I'm not like old or anything, but at 28, I wish I would have spent my earlier 20s just doing more and figuring out more and not being so worried about what my parents wanted, what my parents liked. And that's what I love about Gary Vee. He's like, take your 20s, figure out what the fuck it is you want to do with your life, go travel, go meet people, start a
Mm-hmm.
business, watch your business fail, start a new business, and then, start figuring it out then, so when you hit your 30s, you can really start putting in, really laying the foundation a little bit more, and you can start working towards what it is that you really want to do. And I don't think enough people do that because we are so like our society is so stuck on, you have to do this process or you're worthless, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is just
Well,
bullshit.
because so a lot of the trends are going to that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you're lucky you learned quickly and early. I my 20s I got married because I thought that's what you needed to do. I got married, I had a job at I had a job in my career at 19. So
Mm-hmm.
at 19 I was already in my career making a good salary. So I got married at 23. I had kids at 26, I think, 27. I don't know. I had my first child, and then I had my second child, and then I got divorced, and all of that. Man, I am 41 years old and barely scratching the surface on what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because finally, I was just like, screw this. I want to make myself happy. I
Right.
don't want to live my life miserable, which is what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
My first marriage fell apart, and honestly, I really wish I do have two beautiful children, and I love my children to death, but I honestly wish I would have waited
Mm-hmm.
to have children to start the family and all of that till later on, because I back then I really didn't even know what I wanted to do.
Right.
Um, but that's the way my generation was taught, is you're working towards a family, you're working towards getting a family and having your family and getting married and having kids and raising your kids and all of that. um, Now my kids are teenagers, and so they don't want anything to do with me, but and now I have time to do the things that I want to do.
Right.
And now I'm doing with my life what I wanted to. And honestly, it's funny because no, if you wouldn't have known me in high school, you would not think that makeup would be my passion, because I was the biggest tomboy ever. I didn't start wearing makeup until probably my late 30s.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I'd wear it for like special occasions and things like that, but I
Right.
didn't really, really start wearing it until I really started getting into it and learning how you can easily change your face with just makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can change the shape of your face and everything just with that. And I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. I want to learn everything I can about it. And now, it's grown from there, because the first when I first started, I was learning blending and all of that, and then the cut creases, and then this and that. And I'm still learning how to do like double and triple cut creases. And now I really want to get into the more artistic stuff where you're drawing detailed images and things. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I challenge myself every day. You never stop learning.
No.
So, and that's the main thing. Never stop learning. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. So.
You know what I love? There's like so many things that you're saying that I'm like storing in my brain. First of all, talking about like, you know, and your generation was about, you know, getting through and like focusing on the family. I don't think okay, I'm gonna bring all this full circle, so bear with me. I don't think that my dad's intention wasn't to have a family. I don't think. I think like I'm pretty sure he accidentally got my mom pregnant. Like from the stories I've heard, that was an accident both times. But my parents ended up having us, which I'm so grateful for because even though, you know, my family is the way that it is, I love my family and we are our own little dysfunctional bunch and I'm glad to be here. But my dad, because of having a family so young, had to put school off, and he spent so much time. My dad was such a good dad, and my dad spent all of his time being a dad. Like it was all about like get up in the morning, make lunches, take you to school, gotta go to work, come home, I gotta take you to practice, I gotta be at the practice, I gotta be at every game, I have to be at everything. Like my dad was the most involved parent I've ever met in my life, and you know, he never really got to figure out what made him happy, and he never took care of himself. The most my dad is he is the most incredible guitarist. And that was one thing my dad did do when we were growing up. Every week we'd go to Best Buy and my dad would walk through the CD section for like 12 hours, and I only got a CD sometimes, but my dad always got like 12. So my dad was always buying new music. And my dad was always buying a new instrument. And if my dad picked up an instrument, he was super good at it. But that's really all he did to take care of himself was, or like to do, you know, self-care. And even then we were kids, so we were annoying. And I'm like, Dad, I want to play your guitar. Like P does it to me now. And I'm like, oh my God, I understand now why you were like, go somewhere. It's all out of love. I know it is. But it's like that little bit of time that you get to yourself. And so now my dad is 51, I think. And my dad is just now, he's like, he jokes about it. He's like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up still. And he's still figuring it out. And it's just, you know, I don't want to live my life that way. I want to be the most involved parent I can, but I also want my daughter to have a mother who is strong and she knows what she wants and she's confident and she feels good. And like, you know, speaking on confidence, like my dad had like no confidence. And it showed, like, as I got older, my dad and I, you know, you kind of like almost become friends with your parents as you become an adult. And my dad and I started having these conversations, and I'm like, dude, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And he lacked that confidence. And, you know, recently I feel like he's been getting it. He's been speaking his mind more. He kind of knows what he wants more. He's been making really solid boundaries and putting his wants and needs first, which I'm very proud of him for. But that is something that it's like I said, everybody takes a different avenue. Mm-hmm. You know, my dad has never said that he like regretted having us or anything, but very similar to what you were saying about like, you know, I wish that I would have made different choices, or I wish that, you know, I could have given you guys a better life with it. And to me, it's so funny because I'm like, you gave us the best life. We didn't even know you were struggling, you know, except for the stuff with my mom, because that was very overt. But, yeah, I think that, especially if you have kids too, it's so important to like know the balance. And if you don't know the balance, take the time to find the balance and like give yourself grace when you fuck up and your balance is off. Like I know some days I'm out more than I'm home and I need to work on that. Or like there's more days that I'm out than I'm home, or I'm home and I'm not taking care of myself and I'm sulking on the couch because, you know, and I too am working on finding that balance. But anyways, I just wanted to touch on that. And I forgot the last thing that you said, and I had a whole thing, but it was more about confidence on my part, but I forget.
I don't remember. I don't remember what I said either. Damn.
This is what we do. But I will say, as far as confidence goes, like when you are taking care of yourself, okay, we're going to back up. Look, I have like so many thoughts. I hate that my brain is like this.
Mine's like that too, so.
I know, and I'm like, all of these connect. How do I make it make sense? you have to reach a point in your self-care where it is self-motherfucking care. It is not, I'm taking care of myself for mom and dad. I'm taking care of myself for my kid. I'm taking care of myself for my partner. No. It needs to be self-motherfucking care. And it needs to look how you want it to look, not how they want it to look. Because if someone else is like, well, you need to go run 3 miles a day, but you fucking hate running, you're not fucking taking care of yourself the way you want to.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that judgment like really fucking plays a part sometimes. Excuse my vulgarity today. I am just in the mode.
We have it explicit on all of our stuff, so it's fine.
But I feel like judgment plays such a part. And at the end of the day, people are going to judge you anyway. And let me tell you exactly what the fuck I mean. Okay, there are people in my life, Maria knows who I'm talking about. There are people in my life who no matter what the fuck I do or how I do it, I could do it exactly how I'm told to do it. And I am wrong. It is not right. It's not enough. Are you sure you want to do it that way? Why didn't you did that now? Why like, I can't win. And so I got to this point where I was so fucking stressed. And everyone's like, you need to take care of yourself, but you need to do it how I want you to do it. And I had a conversation with my therapist recently, a couple weeks ago, actually. And we were talking about this person that I met. And the first question that I got about this person was, is this like a romantic friend or is this like a friend? Because your mind cannot handle all that drama right now. And I just was like, I mean, he's a friend right now. And my therapist was like, who the fuck cares if it's a romantic friend? If you're happy, that's all that matters. And I was like, damn, you right. And it's like, I've never heard this before, but it was just like that reinforcement. And I get the same thing about my job. Like I said earlier, people ask me to change my job. I've had people in my family tell me I need to move out of Mike's house faster. I've had people tell me that I need to slow down and take my time. I've had people tell me that I need to parent differently. I've had people tell me that I need to work out and eat differently. I've heard so much shit about dieting that I could never talk about food again, ever. Like you know what I mean? It's just like you've got to filter through the bullshit and say, okay, hey, that's great for you. And if you think that those are healthy options in your brain, then maybe you should try those things. But I'm going to, like, my stepmom will never understand why I tattoo myself heavily and color my hair weird colors. And she said that. She's like, I just don't get it. Because she thinks I'm going to get a disease from a tattoo. Or that I'm not going to be hireable for my hair. Or my stepdad didn't want me to tattoo my hands because he was like, you're not going to be able to get hired anywhere. And I'm like, I do hair.
Right. My dad's the same way about tattoos and my hair. I mean, his comment on my hair is, you're not 18. I'm like, I'm not trying to be 18.
She's like, I'm not dead either, bitch.
I'm like, maybe this is how I like to express myself, you know, and a lot of makeup and tattoos. Oh my gosh. When I got tattoos, my parents were so mad at me. And my dad was like, that's so unprofessional. Yeah. I mean, they're fine now because they know that I'm going to do it, but because I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. But you know, if I could afford a hell of a lot more well, I probably could if I stopped spending all my money on makeup. But if I could afford to, you know, paint my body in tattoos, I would. There's so many tattoos I want to get right now. It's not even funny. But I choose to spend my money on makeup.
Right.
So I mean, because you know, those of you that don't know, I've got like an insane amount of makeup, more than anybody could
Just
even
look at her background if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, and if you do watch me, I'm fixing to do a declutter, so you'll see how much crap I have. I have so much stuff, and I buy all of it. I you know, I'm a little person. I don't get free stuff, so I buy all of it. So yeah, I mean, I spend all my money on that, but that's just the way that I express myself, and that's who I am.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was friends with Dylan, he was like, because you were my best friend. And I'm like, I'm talking about, my friends and, how we get along and things like that. And he's like, You're not trying to be young, are you? And I'm like, dude.
I will throw fucking hands.
I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be young, but I'm also not trying to be this old person that
You're
I'm
not trying to let your
myself.
age define you. Like,
Yeah, I'm myself, okay? I happen to like tattoos. I happen to love makeup. I happen to love colorful hair. I don't act my age. So, who fucking cares?
buddy.
I'm
Well,
not
clearly
trying
he does.
I'm not trying to live my life and or trying to relive my life. I
Mhm.
am who I am. And if I act younger than I do, I'm sorry.
You know what I found though? A lot of people who are super judgmental on how you live and the way in which you do things and the order in which you do things. And when I say that, I mean like, school, marriage, kids, all that shit, like literally everything. People who are so judgmental and they take so much time to sit here and give you shit about they're miserable. They are so unhappy with their own lives. And those people in my experience have been the ones who like they don't do the self-care. They don't do anything. They don't do anything for themselves. Or if they do, it's robotic. And that's something you got to get uncomfortable with is self-care. If you get comfortable with your self-care, it's just part of your routine now.
All
And you
right.
might say like, "Oh, but self-care should be a part of your routine." Yes.
Mhm.
However, if it's so regular to you that it's just in there, that's not self-care anymore. It's just something that you do. And I think that it's super important to switch it up. That's why earlier I was like, yo, go experience things and do things and meet people and like, just find different shit to dabble in. Okay? Because like eventually it becomes your mundane shit.
Right. And that's another thing. That's another thing. That's why I'm constantly learning. That's why I'm constantly upping my game because I
Right.
don't want it to just be, oh, okay, yeah, I'm doing this. Look, I'm just and it become just something.
Right.
I want to challenge. I love a challenge. I've always loved a challenge. Okay.
Mhm.
I do
You
5,000 piece puzzles. Just because I love it.
Mhm.
And Heather knows this about me. That's why she was being sarcastic. Um, that's just how I am. And for somebody to go, well, your best friend is in her 20s and you're talking to me, and I'm like, dude, okay, look. First of all, yes, my best friend is 28. Okay. I have another best friend who is exactly my age because I went to school with her. I saw her this weekend. I have another best friend who is my sister and she is older than me. My husband is older than me. I don't just hang around people that are, 20s or teenagers or this or that. I
Mhm.
hang out with people that match my personality.
There you go. Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
You
Go ahead.
know, there are people that are in their 20s that act like fucking assholes and idiots. I learned that from a freaking game because I'm now I promised myself after the whole Dylan situation that I would never do a mass multiplayer an MMORPG game. I
Mhm.
promised myself, but I now play State of Survival,
Mhm.
and I'm in this alliance, and there's this kid in there, and he was like, and I mean kid, okay, not like you that
Like
you
kid,
you
kid.
yeah, you act a lot older than you are. Dylan acted a lot older than he was.
And he said
um
he was. Go ahead.
yeah, right. And then the people that I hang out with for a reason because they bring something into my life.
Absolutely.
Um, they bring a depth into my life. I mean, Heather and I can talk about anything and everything and nothing. And
Yep.
we do. We talk for hours, and that's the way that it was with Dylan, but it was in a completely different aspect. It was like more of the stuff going on in the world, religion, which I always swore I would never talk about, and deep, issues.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, him and I are. Our relationship is playful. We're very playful. And we do have serious moments, but we're playful. That's just he brings the kid out in me. And that's who I like hanging out with. Somebody who's going to bring something out in me that nobody else can.
Right.
And that's who I look for. I don't look for people that are exactly like me. I mean, I have friends that are exactly like me. But I look for people that bring out the best in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in this game and there was this kid. He was 27. Okay. He was 20. You wouldn't have guessed it by the way this guy acted. He would jump from alliance to alliance. And if those of you that don't play MMORPG, I'm sorry. I'm talking gibberish here, but he would jump from alliance to alliance and then come back over here and he's like, I'm getting information. And then he'd be in world chat and he'd start shit,
Mm-hmm.
constantly starting drama, which is the whole reason why I gave up on that other game that Dylan and I were in before, because there was nothing but drama in there and I hated it.
Right.
And so I'm in this one in an alliance. In this one, the leader lets us do our thing. He does lead, but he's really quiet. And then this other guy comes in here and he starts shit with another alliance that is stronger than us. And so they started attacking his settlement, and so we had to put our men over there so that they could help him out. And then he's in chat not dropping it. It's like this little kid with a
My
he got
God.
caught, his hand caught in the candy jar, and he's like stomping his feet going, I don't want to do this, sitting there going, this is your fault, this is your fault, this is your fault, and not owning up to the shit that he did. Okay. And then decides to come in come in to our alliance, because there's an alliance chat and there's a world chat, come into our alliance and say, hey, if I start my own alliance, would y'all join? And I'm like, dude, you don't come into somebody else's team and try
Right.
to snipe their people from them. And he
Right.
goes, well, no, I was talking about our leader too, because I can do all this stuff and he can just, sit back and relax. And I'm like, you're acting like he doesn't care about his crew, which he actually does. He may not talk much, but he does
Right.
very much care about his alliance. And, when we need him, he's there. Just because he doesn't talk much doesn't mean that he doesn't
Right.
care. And you're over here trying to snipe his stuff. He's like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Well, this other girl and I, because she's 20, yeah, she's 29. Her and I were just sitting there getting on to him. We were speaking up, and we were like, you don't just do that. That's not something that you do. And then he left the alliance, and we completely, because we had an open alliance where whoever wanted to join could join. But we closed it down because we didn't want him coming back in. But the kid was 27 and he acted
Right.
like he was 12.
Right. And you're like, I'm just here to like have a good time, decompress, blow
Right.
off some steam. Like, I'm not here to
Right.
have this
Yeah.
bullshit.
And I'm talking to this girl and I'm like, this is almost turning out to be like the other. That's why I swore to God I would never be in another MMORPG to begin with.
Right.
This is the entire reason. It's because people act like they're idiots, and that's not the way that our alliance is. We play, we
Right.
talk to each other, we tell jokes, and then when it's like when we need to go over and do the things that we needed to do, we do it,
Mm-hmm.
and we help each other out. that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be drama.
Right.
And so you can be older and act like you're a fucking child, and you can be young and act like you're way older than you are.
Yeah.
Which is for you and for Dylan, but that's another story.
I don't like his name.
I know, he ruined that name for me. He fucking ruined everything. That name. So so when people say that, it just pisses me off, because I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I mean, that's not what I'm doing. I act like I'm young, because I like to have fun, but I also act older because I'm not just over here, whoo. I just going with things.
Right.
I'm responsible, and I give people advice and take care of my friends and all of that. But just because I have younger friends doesn't mean I'm trying to act young. I'm
it's like I mostly talk to people who are older than me, but I don't know, I'm 28 and I'm covered in tattoos. I cuss a lot because I don't have a filter, and some people would say that that's immature. I color my hair weird colors, and some people think that's inappropriate. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm agreeing with you, by the way. I'm not yelling at you. No, but it's like, what do something that I had a really hard time with, and up to like my relationship ending, was, what does this person bring to my life? And when I say that, I don't mean like just in a relationship. I don't mean anything like that. I just mean in general. You have to ask yourself, whether it's a friendship, relationship, family, I don't care. What does this person bring to my life? Also, what are you giving to people, right? Because if you're giving a lot of yourself, like, that's energy you could be putting back into yourself. For me, it makes me feel really good to give to other people. That's just how I am. I don't need it reciprocated. I just need it appreciated. But if it's not even being appreciated, if you're giving someone all this good energy, you're giving them love, you're, supporting them, you're working to inspire them, you're trying to give them as much good as you can, and they're not giving you anything but drama and complaints and bullshit, and they're miserable. Sometimes it fucking sucks to have to be like, you are really killing my fucking vibe.
Right.
But you have to, because you have to. I just posted something on Facebook yesterday, and I don't know it verbatim, but it was like my morning thoughts, and my thoughts yesterday morning, I was just kind of like, you can't force someone else to find their own peace, right? And that's something that I try to do for a long time. You can't force somebody else to find their own peace, but you can protect yours. And when someone fucks up your peace, or when someone comes in and they they make you feel bad, or they break your heart, or they break you down, like, don't let that shit turn you cold. Continue to be the kind, loving person that you are. And if you're not a kind and loving person, then I really urge you to look inward and ask yourself why. But continue to be the kind and loving person that you are, and bounce back from it, and just give it to someone else who deserves it. And at the end of the day, maybe not, you might give that energy to 20 people who don't deserve it, and then you'll come across the one who deserves it, whether it's a friend, a romance, whatever.
Exactly.
But just don't let other people turn you shitty because they're not at peace with themselves. People who make comments like that, are you just trying to be young? First of all, fuck you. You're not old. Second of all, why are you so miserable that it fucking matters to you?
Why do you care? Why do you care?
Right.
She's just trying. She's just trying to be, fit in with all the young crowd. No, I'm not, because there's some very stupid young people.
Yeah.
There's some very stupid old people too.
Well, like, you surround yourself with really, it really does have so much to do with your mental state.
Yeah,
And
and
like,
the thing is, okay, y'all need to learn from me, okay? Learn from me. I spent most of my life doing what I thought everybody wanted me to do, acting like how everybody wanted me to act. I was never myself. I wasn't myself until now. I am more myself now than I was when I was 18, 20. Because I was being who I thought everybody wanted me to be. I met Mark, and that kind of everything just kind of from there, because
I'm
he was
shocked.
yeah, right. He was the first person that showed me it was okay to act stupid. Because if any of y'all know Mark, okay, he's very responsible. He's very responsible, but he has this kid-like energy, and he just brings out the best. I mean, he makes me laugh. And that's why I married him, because he brought out that side in me that I didn't know I had. And that's what I say, you know, he brings that to our relationship. You know, I bring more order into ours. Organized chaos, let's say that, because I'm not a very clean person. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am now, because I do things every day, but I'm very ADD, so everything's like very cluttered. But you know, and then I bring the kindness into his life, because he didn't have that.
Right.
And that's the type of person that I am. I'm a very giving person. If you're my friend, you'll understand. I am a very giving person.
She really is.
Because that's just the way that I am, and that's the way that I show my love. And you know, Heather is me. It's the younger version of me.
Which is so funny, because this is a testament that you can grow completely differently and still get to the same spot in life. I think a lot of times people think you have to take one path to get to one place. I always went against the grain. When I was little, I was a people pleaser. I've definitely had my moments where I've been like, I just want you to be proud of me. You know, but I never did anything that people wanted me to do. I was the person who, you know, minus like school and stuff. Yeah, I did. But like, when it came to my jobs, when it came to who I spent time with, when it came to my extracurricular activities, when it came to anything, I was the type of person, still am, still proud of it, who's very stubborn. And if you tell me no, I'm gonna say fuck you, watch me do it, and watch me do well with it too. And you know, I always did pretty okay for myself. I mean, I fell, and I fell flat on my face a few times, but I'm a believer in not playing it safe, because when you play it safe, you don't learn, in my opinion, because if you're playing it safe, you're not taking the risk to fail. And so, you know, I just did what made me happy a lot of the time. And sometimes those things change, but because of that, I was able to have a lot of really good times. You know, when I was younger, then when I say younger, I mean like my early 20s, like as an adult younger, I was able
Which
to
is
have a
why
lot of
you grew
really
up
I
faster.
did. I grew up faster because I had a lot of good times, but sometimes when you live fast, you fuck up.
Oh yeah.
And then you make mistakes and you learn. And because I made mistakes and I learned, I had to grow up, and that's okay with me. If I can urge you to do anything, it's be smarter than me but dumber than Maria. I think that's fair.
Exactly. Yeah.
Find a
Yeah,
happy
find a middle
medium.
ground. Find a middle ground.
I think that's good advice to give.
That is good advice. Find a middle ground. Yeah, because I mean, you want to live your life, but you also don't want to be, what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Like to I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's that one. I'm sure everybody's gonna be like yelling at their stereos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but you also don't want to be too careful, which is what I was, because I wanted to make everybody happy. And that's the type of person that I am. I am a people pleaser, and I've always been one. And I do care about I'm getting to the point where I don't care about what people think, but I used to give a lot into what people thought about me, which is why I kind of did that one path. And now everybody's like, why is your hair that color? Why is it, and then they find out how old I am, and they're like, damn, I would have thought. And I'm like, who says you have to act your age?
Well, the thing is, like, when you start doing all this shit, like, think about, like, I mean, and I've been around Maria for over 3 years now, and even when we met, like, you were still in your shell, I would say. More than now, for sure. I don't know how deep the shell goes because I've only been around for 3 years, but I can say Maria was in her shell a lot more. Right. And when, you think about just how you exude your happiness, your confidence, your whatever you want to call it, your swagger, whatever, that has so much to do with exactly what we've been talking about, which is just doing the things that make you happy, being true to yourself, taking care of yourself. Maria is so much more open. Her personality is so much bigger. It's not that it wasn't big before. It's just you're so much more open with it than you were before.
It's all in who you surround yourself with, and that's a thing too. It's all in who you surround yourself with. I met Heather, and she's just this bubbly, happy, just doesn't give a shit about anybody. And I came out a little bit with Mark, and then I meet Heather, and I'm just like, okay, it's okay to be myself.
Hold on, I'm quoting you on Facebook right now. Hold on, what did you say? You said, then I met Heather. That's so funny. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm pausing for a moment. You said I'm a bubbly what?
You're just this bubbly, high energy person that doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks. Because you're going to do your own thing. And that's really what drew me in. I mean, she was happy. She, okay, she gave off that she was happy because okay.
I was just unhappy in certain aspects of my life.
And I think that, I kind of brought the certain level of grounding that Heather needed.
Oh my God, Maria brought so much peace to my life. My life, okay, so like before I met Maria, I should probably tag you in this. Before I met Maria, and Mike has heard this before, so if he hears it through the door, it is what it is. I very much was living a life where people were just, whatever makes you happy. I just want to see you happy. Like, there was I was just talking to Kelly about this, about like, I need someone to rein me in. Like, I need someone who's going to be supportive, like, in that way, and be like, oh my God, I'm here for whatever makes you happy, but also be like, all right, bitch, you're going too far. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I was living a life, and I was in a marriage and around a family, because my family is also very much like, do you, that was just very like, fly free, motherfucker. And then like my family on the other side of it is like, what are you doing every 5 minutes? And it's like over questioning. There was no balance. There was no middle ground. And you would think like maybe the two will balance it. No, they didn't balance each other out, because when one pissed me off, I just went to the other one. And I was like, you know what? You're telling me not to do what makes me happy, and they say that everything that makes me happy is great. Fuck off. Like, it was just, I could just do that. And then I met Maria, and Maria is like the voice of reason and everything. And even like, especially this last year, with with everything. I talk to Maria every day. We talk about everything. We've had maybe, a couple of times where we don't talk every day. And, I would be like, guess what? I'm still miserable. And she'd be like, guess what? You're still there. you know? And I was just like, but excuses. And she'd be like, you're making excuses. And I'm like, I know, but more excuses. And she's just like, yes, but you're making excuses, you know? And it was never like an attacking thing. She was never like, yeah, just stay. That sounds like a great idea. You're making all the right choices. It was like that.
There was never a question in her mind about how I felt. I always gave my opinion. She never questioned that.
Maria is honest in a very, I wouldn't even say delicate way, just in a very neutral way. That's like, okay, so like, I love you. You're being dumb. Whereas but not even like that though, because I'm more like that. I'm more like, hey, you're that's stupid. You know, like
that's the way Mark is.
Yeah,
you're the female version of Mark.
Oh, this is like that moment where, who is it? Where do you watch New Girl? Schmidt's like, oh my god, I'm marrying Nick. Like, but no, like she's just so much more like delicate about things. I don't want to say delicate though, because you're very honest, but you're just honest in a way that's like, what are you doing? Whereas, you know, I am way more of a, okay, get the fuck up, dust it off, let's go. Like, I'm very aggressive when I love you, which is kind of doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. But I needed that. I needed some sort of balance because Maria is very supportive of everything that I invest myself in, that I like. You know, she pushes me to do the things that I like, which, you know, is super important in any close friendship, but also at the same time will look at me and be like, hey, you're making bad choices, which I did not have before that. And my friendships before, oh my God, my best friend before Maria came around, that was like, look, okay, that is like, you just, it is bad. The whole thing was bad. It was toxic. I was toxic. She was toxic. And together we were just like, we were fucking up everything. And I really hope that she found somebody in her life that like, no disrespect to the girl. It is what it is. I really hope that she found somebody in her life who balances her out. Because, you know, I know she was going through her own shit too, but our personalities were just too, you know, they just like butted, like we were the same too much.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
and
really
that's hard.
And
And a lot of people are like, because Mark, for instance, when Heather was going through her thing, I'd sit there and hear it because I wouldn't let Heather hear the shit that he was saying about her.
It's like me, and Mark was like, tell her to fucking shut up.
Yeah, about her in this relationship, and he's like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. She's gonna do this. She's gonna do this, and I'm just like, you know, even though that she was with him, I still supported her. You know, and then when she'd complain, I'm like, well, you know.
Like, you're there, bitch.
He's not a good person. I'll like, just get out of there. But, you know, Heather's one of those people that has to do everything herself, and she has to learn all this, and she has to make sure that she's done everything in her power to make things work before she figures out, oh, this idiot's not going to give a shit.
That is like, I will say, this is a tangent, but like that we're about to get off on, but that's fine. I will say, you know, Mike said this when I left our marriage, and I felt like I did everything I could in our marriage, and you know, Mike tried after I was no longer invested.
Yeah.
But to him, he had to try everything, right? And that is one thing I will say about being in a relationship with someone like myself, is that the personality and that loving, giving, like that knows no limits meaning like when it comes to like who it's given to. And when you love someone even harder, and part of that has to do with my mental health, and I know that. I do everything to the extreme, whatever. But when it comes to like romantic relationships, I will exhaust every effort. I will, if I have like with my last relationship, I was like, okay, we're going to try the yelling thing. Like, we're going to try the real confrontation. Okay, we're going to try the talking thing. Okay, we're going to try the space thing. Okay, we're going to try the doing it on our own. We're going to try therapy. We're going to try, you know, everything, like anything and everything. I'm going to try to give you everything in sacrifice. Oh, but I'm not getting it back and it's not appreciated. Like, I'm going to take your shit. You know, it's just like, I literally would exhaust every outlet that I had. And honestly, like what I've learned, especially in meeting this new person in my life who's just so kind, and like whether it really turns into something or not, he has taught me so much so quickly about like just having a positive relationship with somebody in any way, because it's so easy. Like, like I told Mike today, I said, I find myself wanting to take a step back and like take accountability and explain myself and, hear how they feel. And like yesterday, I'd gotten an attitude, and I don't think that was really portrayed through my text messages, but I knew I had an attitude. And so and there was no reason for it. And I just texted him like, listen, I'm sorry. Like that was really fucked up of me. And like, I was just feeling a certain type of way. But I'm at this point where I'm like, I'm going to do what I reciprocated, and if the respect can't be mutual, then I'm not interested. And I'm not going to exhaust all of this energy trying to figure it out. And I've been very fortunate that in this short time, that's just been a very mutual thing. It's been very appreciated on both ways. And those are the types of people that, you shouldn't be in relationships and friendships with people who you have to fucking just like fight with everything in you and drain yourself to keep around. And those were my friendships.
God,
and those were my relationships.
I've been in those. It's
miserable.
Before. It is miserable, and you don't want to be like that. You want someone who, and like I've said before, is gonna bring something. There's always, in a friendship, in any relationship, each other brings something to the relationship.
Absolutely.
And this is the one thing that I agreed with Dylan on, is that it will end whenever y'all have nothing to bring. Yep. When y'all stop having something to bring, the relationship, the friendship, whatever, will end. And that usually happens when the other person like grows up, or just starts changing, because everybody changes. Changes. And then they go their separate ways. But you bring a certain aspect into the relationship, and then that's what happens with and the reason why I'm going somewhere with this, okay?
No, I've been there.
That's what happens with an abusive relationship, and especially one that's not physical. It's not a physical abusive relationship. You tend to stay in mental abusive relationships longer because they have that mental hold on you, and they know how to manipulate you. Mm-hmm. And you're not listening to yourself, like, okay, this person isn't bringing anything into this relationship but chaos. But they kind of have this aspect to where they have pulling the wool over your eyes, like, okay, this is going well, or this is all my fault, or things like that. So when you're in a relationship like that, it's a lot harder to get out. A lot harder, because you have that mental aspect. And Heather had said this in a prior podcast. I would much rather be hit than to be in a mentally abusive relationship. Funny, that's what she ended up getting caught up in, but yeah. But I mean, it's true. It's true. At least that you have the proof and the like, I'm gonna leave aspect.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But when you have when you're in a mentally abusive relationship, that person knows how to manipulate you into staying, into thinking everything is your fault, and
manipulating others into believing it's not happening.
Yes, exactly. Unless you're like Maria and can see through the asshole, then it is what it is.
I came right out.
Well, he was. So, then that's the big difference with my daughter.
I thought that was in my house for a second. I was like,
no, she was walking into the garage because she's got to feed the animals because it's 4 o'clock. But that's what. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's why it's a lot harder to get out of a relationship like that, because you have that mental aspect. And the thing is when you start doubting yourself, that's when you rely on that person more. Don't forget that one.
Well, when you have somebody doing that to you, like there's no taking care of yourself, because you're constantly trying to take care of them, because you think if you take care of them, they won't treat you this way anymore. And that's not how it works. It continues. And then now you're being drained. You're draining yourself, and you're taking energy that you could be putting into yourself, and you're putting it into somebody else, and they're just taking it. And they're not doing anything with it except just throwing it the fuck away because they don't even care.
Right. Exactly. Or, you finally get out of it and then they realize that they lost something that was very, 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 very probably the best thing that they had in their life, and they turn miserable and gain a lot of weight. So
I'm doing good over here.
So, yeah.
I remember, I can't give too many details because it was a therapy session, so I'm not gonna give details because that's super, super disrespectful. But I just remember, and this was said outside of therapy, so whatever. I remember being told, I just feel like it's too little too late at this point. Yeah. And how much I meant to this person, and I didn't want to believe that it was too little too late. Everyone was telling me it was. They were like, girl, you're gonna give up. You're gonna hit the wall. Trust me. Because it doesn't happen overnight. The changes don't happen overnight. And I needed it to happen overnight because I was already exhausted with trying to take care of somebody else instead of myself. And you have to remember that, you can't even pour into somebody's cup if your cup isn't full. Right? So, and I was constantly pouring, and I was every drop that was in my cup was gone. And everybody was like, it's too little too late. And, this person told me that, I was this amazing person. I tried so hard. I had, stuck by them more than anybody else. I had been more supportive than anybody else. I'd been more understanding than anybody else. And it's people, and this is why if someone is telling you all of these things, but they're treating you otherwise, that's not even a red flag. That's a nuclear bomb right there, because it's okay, so you can clearly fucking acknowledge it. So why can't you fucking appreciate it?
Yeah, you're not doing anything to change the situation.
Right. And it's for me, I lost so
I honestly don't think he even believed that himself. I think it was just more of a ploy to get you to stay.
Probably. When you are surrounded by people who are draining you, whether, I don't care what their relationship in your life is. I mean, I didn't take care of myself. And then when I started to take care of myself, it was a problem. It took up too much time. It was an inconvenience. It was annoying. It was this, it was that. Don't be around people like that. Don't be in relationships like that. Don't have friendships like that. If your friends don't want to see you succeed, if they don't want to see you be happy, if they don't want to see you just fucking blow your own creativity out of the water, if they don't want to see you just flourish, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your mama, your sister, your brother, your best friend, your husband, your wife. I don't care. That person is not meant to be in your fucking life.
Yep. And that's the thing with us, because I think it's funny. Heather and I are kind of in the same, thing. She does hair, but she has her own YouTube channel, and she has the podcast too, and all of that. So, and I have a YouTube channel and a Instagram and podcast and all that. And, you know, when she's doing better than me, I don't sit there and get pissed off at her. You know, that's the thing with us. We're always cheering each other on. We are always cheering each other on. And that is like the perfect relationship. Yes. Because there's no room for competition. I mean,
no, there's no need
I understand.
For it.
Yeah, and I understand being competitive and wanting to be the best at what you do. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong when you want to step on others to get there. And you're not celebrating your friends or your significant others or whatever, you know, their accomplishments. Because then you're going to end up alone.
Well, and part of that has to do with the fact that, like, people like that are not taking care of themselves. And the thing is you can't make them, right? Like, I tried so hard to be like, do something that makes you happy. Like, find a creative outlet. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like, I like just like try to like give something. Like, even if I didn't really have an answer, like I tried to give suggestions. And it was just like, I'm going to do the same shit that I always do, even though I know it's a temporary fix and it's not going to do anything. And I'm just going to be happy for an hour and then I'm going to be miserable again. And I'm like, but like, if you're consistently changing it up and doing things to make you happy, it's like I, throughout my day, do things like gratitude, journal, sing, dance. I dance from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I wish it was a joke. It's not a joke. That's what I do. And like, that's what I do when I'm happy. For a year, I did not dance in my house for a year because I wasn't happy. And it's like shit like that. Like, you have to let loose. You have to be willing to like be yourself, and you have to be okay and comfortable being yourself. And because that's how you take care of yourself. You have to know yourself. You be in tune with yourself and give to yourself. And I did not realize how much I needed. This sounds so silly. How much I needed to fucking dance. That's all I do all day.
Not only that, but I mean, we had a long hiatus on the podcast because of that too. You know, he didn't want her to do anything that took away from his time. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid.
You know, and she wanted to start the YouTube and all of this, and then that was becoming a problem. And you know, you can't be in something. And I'm sure, you know, I'm gonna relate this to self-care because back then she did very little self-care. Yeah, she stopped doing it because that's what made her, you know, that's what made her happy. Was the podcast is our therapy session. It's our best friend therapy session. And we just happened to record it for everybody else to hear. And, you know, I always feel great after our podcasts. I'm always like, you know, very, very pumped up. And I'm like, I want to do this. And all the creative juices start flowing. And then it makes for the rest of my week, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I end up getting content, because I start thinking of things, and that's just how it is. And then, you know, of course, she wanted to do the YouTube thing because that made her happy. And not only that, you know, it gave her a creative outlet to do her own thing, too, because she wasn't doing hair at the time. You know, and when all that started becoming a problem, she finally realized, she was like, I can't do anything without him saying something. I can't do anything for myself or have anything for myself without him saying something. And, you know, you got to think about that. So you need to think about that when you surround yourself with your friends and your family and all of that. Do you have your own things? Are you still continuing the self-care? Because it can be a very toxic friendship too.
Absolutely.
So you've got to ask yourself, am I doing the self-care? Am I doing these steps? Am I trying to make myself happy? Am I stopping doing the things that I love because of this person? And you've got to ask yourself those questions and then get back to it. And if you have to, you've got to cut that person out of your life. It is what it is, you know.
Well, and that was a big thing that I ran into was, oh, I want to be included. Well, and I had to say, like, there are some things that I don't want to include you in on, and that's not because I don't want to be around you, it's because they're mine and I want my things for myself. And I was told that was selfish. And that's not selfish. It's not selfish to want something for yourself. And even then I still tried to include and I was told no, so I don't feel that bad about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If you keep on wanting to be included and then when I ask you to do something, you're telling me no, then what the hell's going on? My husband doesn't sit there and go, well, I want to be on your podcast. I've asked him before to talk about some stuff and he's just like, yeah, whatever. But we do it at a time that he can't be on it anyway. So,
right.
And he doesn't care. He asks for his time. Yes. When he gets home, but he doesn't care what the hell I do. He wants me to be happy. And that's what you need to be looking for in any kind of relationship. If the person wants you to be happy and they're bringing something into the relationship as well as you are bringing something into the relationship, you've got to think to yourself, am I bringing something into this relationship? Did you lose the sound?
I thought someone knocked on my door.
Oh, but yeah, you've got to ask yourself too, am I bringing something into this relationship? Because if you're not, then you could possibly be that toxic person for the other person.
I can confidently say I always bring something to a relationship. That's not even to sound like conceited. It's like when you do enough like work on yourself and when you start really knowing yourself and when you start really understanding yourself, like you know what you bring to the table, you know your limits, you know a lot. Sometimes we still push those limits. But I know at this point in my life at 28 and after many failed relationships, many relationships that didn't necessarily fail, they didn't work out, which I guess some people would look at as fail, but I don't, because I try to stay positive. I also often quote you. There was a few podcasts ago, Maria said, even when there is nothing positive to be found, Heather looks for the positive. I do. Yes. I try.
Yes. Yeah, she does. And that's the thing. It's not a failed relationship. It's just, it wasn't the right friendship, relationship, or, whatever for you.
Yeah. Things are only failure if you don't grow from it. It's only failure if you don't grow from it. But I just, it's like, once you start knowing yourself well enough, you're like, okay, I know what I bring to this. Like, I know who I am. I know what I've got. I know what I'm giving out. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because if you're not picking it up, then I'm not going to put it down. Like, that's all I'm saying. And, for me personally, I know that I bring good energy. I know that I bring support and love, and I bring kindness and nurturing and just a lot. I bring so much love to the relationships that I have because I don't know how to be any other way. But I often don't reflect on like, is any of that being given back to me, or is anything being given back to me, let alone that.
Well, Heather's an empath too. Okay. We talk about this probably on a regular basis on this podcast because both of us are empaths.
Yeah. It's the most annoying fucking thing in the world, by the way, not talking about it, but just being that way.
Yeah, being that way, it is. But that's the thing. Most empaths, that's what they bring to a relationship. Because they give a lot of themselves. And that's another reason why they tend to get taken advantage of a lot. It's because they give a lot of themselves. Because they do that and then they don't expect anything back. And people tend to take advantage of that a lot.
I have had this conversation so many times, like in the last couple of weeks, where it's like, I owe you. And I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Just let me love on you, because everyone deserves love. Oh my God.
Exactly. I'm like, and that's what a lot of people, they're like, what do you want from me, when they're really cautious and they're not an empath because then they don't understand what the hell you're going through. Because my husband was like that too. He was like, why are you like this? What do you want from me? Why are you being so nice and giving to me? And he'll admit it, when we were first not together but friends, he did take advantage of me. He'll admit it. But now it's the thing that pisses him off. Pisses him off to no end, is if somebody takes advantage of me. But you know, that's an empath. They're easily taken advantage of.
Yep.
Very, very easily. And you know, we really need to stop it there, because it's almost 2 hours that we've been on.
Yo, we have a problem. This might be a two-parter.
We went from not having anything to talk about to talking
not shutting the fuck up.
2 hours.
My bad.
Yeah, it's okay. We're sorry, guys. We understand if you don't listen to our entire podcast like ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we do talk a lot, but we've got a lot to say. I mean, both Heather and I have been through a lot, and we have seen a lot. Even though Heather is young, she's seen a lot. So, you know, we do have a lot to talk about, and there's also a lot for us to still learn. Even though I'm 41, I still have a lot of fucking shit to learn.
Yeah, same.
And that's what the podcast is, basically just kind of us navigating through everyday life and telling y'all what we've learned from it.
It's like our own little, like, video diaries.
Exactly.
I like it.
I do too. I mean, because I actually went and listened to some of our earlier podcasts, and I'm like, damn, we've changed since then.
Yeah, no shit.
And so, but anyways, we will see y'all next week.
Yes.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a while. We don't know what next week's going to bring, but be sure to tune in, because I'm sure it will be great. Anyway, we love you guys. Have a wonderful week, and until next time, bye.
Bye.